My name is Tyler Markham, and I'm a part of the student leadership team here at White River. The student leadership team is, I would say, kind of the older siblings of the ministry. They kind of look over everyone else, and they help both with their faith and just kind of overall directing. We have 4 teams. We have the worship team, which obviously does worship. We have the serve team, which helps out with various projects around the church. We have the shepherding team, which does prayer and that type of thing for students. And then we have the connections team, which is kind of like the welcome group of the church, and they help run games, stuff, and sometimes like that. So typically the students that we serve are going to be our high school and middle school students. We do some stuff with elementary students, but typically we try to invest as much as we can into our middle school and high school areas. I would say for both a middle school and a high school student, what they're looking for is someone to be there for them. And for me growing up, I never really had that. It's different when you have like a parent or a pastor there, because they're older. They're like, it's like, yeah, I respect you and all, but you're still an older person. If you have a student that's diving into your life, that's older, that's so much more. And I want to give these students something that I never had growing up as a kid. I think it's just really important to me to just instill in these kids what God has instilled in my heart. I just want them to have a passion that I have. And I think that's kind of what we're going for with the student leadership, is we want to create a fire inside of our ministry so that, these kids can have what we have. I mean, this is what I want to do with my life. I want to be a youth pastor. That's why I'm doing what I'm doing right now, so I can get as much experience as I can. My journey to find what I wanted to do started about sophomore year. I felt a huge pressure from just different people to find out what I had to do with my life, and I had to know what I was going to college for. And so I started praying, like, Lord, like, what do you want me to do here? I realize now that I was praying the wrong prayer. What I was praying was, God, show me what I want to do, but what I should have prayed was, God, please prepare me for what you want me to do. And now looking back with that mindset, I see now that everything started back when I was in middle school. I went on a mission trip in 8th grade. It's all about talking about leadership. And that right there instilled me into what I am gonna do now. And I see the progression from moving from that 8th grade trip all the way to going to New Orleans, going to Panama, and now serving here in the ministry like I am right now, and investing so much into these kids, leading a small group, and it's just, this ministry is super important to me now. The moment that I really called to make a big step in what I was supposed to do was, it was right after a couple of our pastors had left, and Lance was the only one on staff for the entire student ministry, and I really felt like I needed to do something. So we went and played a game of frisbee golf, and I said, Lance, I know you're doing all this work by yourself, so I want to help out in any way that I can, even if it's just stacking chairs for the next service. And he's like, all right, we'll do that. And now I'm teaching sermons, I'm doing all this other stuff, I'm planning events, and it's just such a neat progression to where, God started it out with a game of frisbee golf, and now I'm here. So when you're investing into the life of anyone, but specifically a student that really looks up to you, it's awesome to just see their eyes light up whenever you come into the room, whenever you're up on stage and you shout them out, or you just talk to them, because that's really what they want. Like, they want to be noticed. They want someone to pour into them, and so that's what I want to give them. It's really awesome to see how God works through my life and into these students' lives. Is when I see them starting to step up and take some leadership roles that my shoes used to fill, and now it's them. That's just really cool to see them, how they've grown. It's awesome just to be a part of something greater than myself, you know? So kind of seeing God's heart in these students' lives has been, it's been kind of cool to see how He cares for each and every one of them. And I know that because He's caused me and so many others to care so much about them. I mean, He came and He died for everyone, so why shouldn't we love these students like how He does? So kind of one of the main drives for my ministry has been the verse 1 Timothy 4:12, which says, "Do not let people look down on you because you are young, but instead set an example in the way that you live your life." I need to step up my game. I need to find God's calling. I need to be what God needs me to be. I need to go out. I need to be sent by Him. I don't want to go out and just do it for me. I want to go out and do it for everybody else. Because if I go out doing it for me, there's no point to doing it, because nothing is gained during that. If you do it for God, there's so much more to gain on both sides of what you're doing. Some advice that I would give to somebody if they're feeling called to be sent somewhere would be, look where you're at now. Because God has you where you are for a reason. You might not see that reason, kind of like how I didn't realize that God was preparing me for ministry my entire high school career. So He's preparing you for something. You just need to find what He's doing that in your life right now.